Telepathy is the direct communication of thoughts, feelings, or intentions between minds without using the physical senses or spoken language. Telepathy is not a new concept. It's been practiced for centuries across various cultures worldwide. The idea of communicating thoughts and feelings directly between minds without the use of traditional senses or spoken language has intrigued people for generations. Ancient texts, folklore, and spiritual practices from different civilizations often reference telepathic abilities. In witchcraft, telepathy is regarded as a sacred art that facilitates communication between the practitioner and other people, and also the spiritual realm. This practice allows us to tap into higher realms of consciousness and receive guidance from guides, deities, and angels. This form of communication helps to link with the collective consciousness, often referred to as the Akashic Records, where all thoughts, experiences, and knowledge are stored. Developing telepathy can enhance personal growth, intuition, and a deeper sense of belonging. Telepathy is a valuable skill for witches and occult practitioners, offering powerful ways to enhance their craft when used thoughtfully. Telepathy enables deep connections by fostering understanding and alignment with others, whether they are loved ones, coven members, spirit guides, angels, or other spirits. Telepathic nonverbal communication allows us to share thoughts, feelings, and intentions on a profound level. By attuning to each other's energies, people can enhance their relationships and create a stronger bond, as telepathy transcends the limitations of the spoken language. It can also facilitate guidance and support received from one's own inner guide, enriching your spiritual journey and personal growth. Telepathy enables the transmission of clear intentions between the practitioner's surface mind and their deep mind. And remember, the deep mind is what is responsible for magical effectiveness. This ability to communicate thoughts and feelings without words is crucial for effective spell work, and it plays a significant role in manifesting one's desires. By aligning your intentions through telepathy, you can enhance your focus and clarity, ultimately leading to more successful outcomes in your magical endeavors. You can use telepathy to influence situations by sending calming thoughts and reducing tensions in a high-pressure environment, or by projecting confidence to foster cooperation among individuals. The subtle energy exchange can create a more positive atmosphere, encouraging open communication and understanding. By harnessing the power of telepathy, you can thus facilitate smoother interactions and promote harmonious outcomes in challenging situations. Telepathy, much like any magical power, carries with it a profound responsibility. When used thoughtfully, it can bridge gaps and enhance relationships. It can promote empathy and deeper connections. However, misusing telepathy for destructive purposes such as manipulation, deceit, or the invasion of privacy can lead to serious repercussions. Such actions not only harm the targeted individuals, but also create a rebound effect that affects the practitioner themselves. It's important to recognize that wielding the power of telepathy comes with obligations, and using it responsibly is essential to avoid the pitfalls that can arise from its abuse. Developing telepathy is not difficult, but it does take practice and patience. I like to begin with affirmations. Affirmations are a great way to set the ball in motion. For instance, you can create a powerful affirmation for yourself to recognize the ability of telepathy that's already inherent in you and develop it. You could say, through telepathy, all the truth that my inner guide wants me to know is now revealed to me. Maybe you want to support somebody that's going through a difficult situation. You could use an affirmation such as, telepathy reveals to you all that you need to know about this situation. Whatever messages that you send to another, you want to make sure that they're succinct. Frequently, sending a visual message is much more effective than a message of words, but that's not always the case. You could see your message traveling from your mind to their mind, perhaps in a little bubble or ball. If you find a study partner, it can be very helpful when you are trying to directly communicate with another individual telepathically. So you can coordinate times where you're going to send and receive messages to and from one another, and then check on your results. My favorite method for telepathy is the written word. I write letters to people, and usually when I write a letter to the person, it tends to bypass their conscious mind, and I get my communication directly into their deep mind. If I'm having a problem with somebody, I can write letters of resolution. If I'm appreciative of somebody, I can write letters of appreciation to them. I don't need to physically send the letter. I just write it in my notebook and consider it sent. When I'm having a problem with somebody, rather than writing a letter directly to them, I find it more advantageous to write a letter to their angel. I don't need to know who their angel is. I don't need to look up their sign or any of that. I simply write, "Dear angel of so-and-so." And then I write out whatever is going on. Here's the situation, and here's what I think we need to do to resolve this situation. Whenever I have done this, I have noticed a resolution in remarkably short periods of time. I also use this letter writing method of telepathy to communicate directly with my guide. I will write out what my question is or my problem is, and then I will relax and put my mind in a receptive state. I'll start to hear a sort of inner dictation, which is my guide speaking back to me, and I just write it like I was a secretary taking shorthand. And once I'm done receiving that communication, I look over both my writing to the guide and their response, and it's uncanny how answers are very clear and definitely not something I could have come up with all on my own. While tools aren't strictly necessary for telepathy, they can significantly focus our mind and intention. A common aid to telepathy for many people is amethyst. Amethyst is highly regarded as a crystal that can enhance one's telepathic abilities. Additionally, herbs such as mugwort and chamomile are frequently used to open psychic channels and facilitate deeper spiritual connections. I also like to burn candles during my telepathic sessions and turn down the electric lights in the room. Obviously, if I'm using the writing form of telepathy, I need enough light in the room so that I can see what I'm doing. And for me, that usually involves having more candles or even a lantern, as I prefer that to electric lights. You can also use items like a crystal ball, dark mirror, or other form of speculum for focus and concentration during telepathy. These tools can create a cohesive environment for practice and help you to connect more deeply with your own powers of telepathy. Ultimately, you don't need any tool other than your mind in order to practice telepathy, however. I knew a woman who wanted to connect with an old childhood friend and just could not find her anywhere. She sent out a telepathic message to her childhood friend, and within 3 days, that friend contacted her on her social media. I remember a coven member who sent out a telepathic call to her coven because she needed some help magically, and for whatever reason didn't feel comfortable speaking it out loud to everybody. One coven member immediately contacted her and said, "I got this urge to call you." And they got together and were able to come up with a wonderful resolution to her need. I knew a woman whose teenage daughter had gone out with some friends, and the woman got a sudden fear that the daughter might be in danger and sent out a telepathic call to her daughter to come home. The teenager later mentioned a sudden urge to head home early, which she did. Whether that danger was real or imagined, we don't know, but the telepathy worked and the daughter came right home. 2 friends lost contact over the years, but they independently dreamed about one another on the same night. The following day, they both felt an inexplicable need to reconnect, and that led to a phone call that rekindled their friendship. Sometimes telepathy happens just spontaneously, and that's wonderful, but you can also develop it as a skill and use it intentionally, and I encourage you to do that. Telepathy is a powerful and sacred art that can nurture connection, intention, and harmony. It's a unique pathway for understanding and empathizing with other people, and enhancing your relationships both on physical and spiritual levels. When approached with respect, humility, and a genuine desire to communicate, telepathy transcends ordinary communication and becomes a transformative, magical tool. It opens doors to deeper insights and shared experiences. It enables us to navigate the complexities of human emotions and interactions. Telepathy is a skill and a sacred gift that bridges the divide between the physical and spiritual realms. When we use telepathy with intention, integrity, and love, we create deep connections. We gain clarity in our relationships. We invite more magic into our lives. And we are able to communicate with non-physical beings that can enhance our magic and our lives. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today. Until next time, blessed be.